Okay, welcome to week 6, and we are going to be doing a demo all about books. So this is one of my favorite projects. I have designed for multiple book covers and also inside books, and I think this is, one of those things that it's a fun and creative assignment. So this week, just make sure that if you're missing any work from week 5, now is your chance to get them in. So make sure you're getting that in after the end of week 6, unless you have prior approval from me. Just a little reminder there. And so we're going to get into your book design and layout. We do not have a discussion this week, so it's giving you a little bit of a break. So this week, we are going to lay out a section of a book, Alice in Wonderland. You will also be introduced to anchored objects and glyphs. This assignment will present a few challenges that you might encounter when designing a book. You will have illustrations and different chapters that start with a chapter number, chapter title, and opening paragraph. There will be issues with text formatting to make sure that it's as readable as possible. And most importantly, this is also an exercise in following assignment instructions. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on your download of your week 6 book assets. It's a zipped folder containing all of the assets that you need. So go ahead and click download. And once you do that, you will see that it should unzip it. Let me go ahead and share what I'm seeing here once I unzip it. So once I unzip this, let's see here. That's the wrong one. There we go. Should look like this. There we go. I have lots of stuff in my downloads folder, but once you download this, you should see a book example, book photos that all are inclusive, all JPEG and black and white pictures. Whole bunch of those. You also have your book text, Word file, and then your checklist. Go ahead and I'm going to share my desktop so that we're all on the same page here. Go ahead and open up your InDesign program and then also open up your checklist. That way we can kind of get started and take a look at what we need to follow as far as specifications. And just like every week, we have this with every project. And you will be graded on how closely you follow all project instructions. So InDesign only, and then also only Adobe CC Serif fonts can be used. Do not use Minion Pro. The page size will be 6 by 9, no bleed. So you're going to follow these settings very closely here when you create your document. Define parent pages. So we're going to set these settings as example here. These settings will be set for your margins, columns, all that good stuff. And then obviously we have your paragraph style. Oh, I'm sorry, before I do that, page numbers should be added and the header of the top of the page instead of bottom this time with the text Alice's Adventure in Wonderland. Then your paragraph style sheet should be created. And then body copy cannot exceed 12 points, keep between 10 to 12. Take a look at this paragraph style panel. You can see all of the named paragraph styles that you should have. So when I open your file up, you should have that too. Then you should use all the required text, which is in that Word file. And then each chapter must have an end mark in the form of a glyph character to signal the end of the chapter. Use all images. Supplied images must be added to your document as an object with text wrap. We talked about that in past projects, so it has to have a text wrap. And then an anchored object. And we have an example here. It should be named anchor object JPEG. And then whenever you are exporting your final file for submission, just make sure you're packaging your InDesign file. I always show how to do this in every demo. So if you need a review of that, it'll be at the end of this demo. And then just make sure that you're checking on linked graphics, and also you're including your PDF, high quality PDF, and then you're going to zip it and submit that for grading. Okay, so let's go back up to the top, 6 by 9, and we're going to do facing pages. Primary text frame is checked as well. So let's go ahead and I'm going to move this to the side so we have both of our file in InDesign and also our specs showing. So we go File, New, go to InDesign, File, New, Document. And what we want to do is we want to change our specs and make sure you're in inches to 6 inches by 9. We want it to be portrait, 1 page facing pages, and then click on primary text frame so that it's adding that whenever we open and create a new document. You'll see when I open this up. Okay, so column should be 1, gutter should remain as 0.1667, and then you have your columns here, your margins, which, we'll get into that as we go forward here. So we're just gonna set this to 0 for now and click create. All right, so it should look like this. We don't have any margins set up right now, just 1 page. And then I'm going to go to the next page here where we're going to define our parent pages. And then also, let's go to your parent page. So double click on the left side here, and we're going to go up to margins and columns. And where it says bottom, or actually the top, I should say, uncheck this link here. So we're not linking all of this, isn't all the same numbers. And we're going to put 0.8333 inches by 1.5. And you could just go ahead and type that in there if you highlight it. 0.875. And I'm just going to copy and paste that in here. Perfect. So you can kind of see it changing. As you hit preview, you can see the whole thing changing. So you see those margins being applied. And if you select both of these, I just have the left side selected, so I'm going to hit cancel. If I hit the shift key and choose both of these, see how it highlighted both of my parent pages, and they go up to margins and columns, it'll change both of them. So that's a good reminder, and I didn't do that at first. So definitely hold that shift key down before so you're not doing this over and over again. You're doing it all at once. 1 column, and the gutter is 0.1665. Adjust layout, we want to check that, and then adjust lock content should be clicked, and then click OK. And you can see that that's being applied to both of your pages. Let me zoom out here instead of just one. Okay, so then what you have to do is page numbers. Keep your parent pages selected, and what you want to do is your page numbers. So go ahead and create your little box here. Now, before I do that, I want to make sure if I want to click on this example, just to kind of take a look at what we're trying to emulate here. Okay, so if you check on that example that's provided in that asset folder, you can kind of see how everything's laid out. The top part is your actual footer. We call that footer. Your page number is at the top. So we want to emulate that style. And then every other page, you can see the left and the right pages are being shown here. So if we view this, let's do 2-page view. And you know what, let's see here. 2-page. It's not showing the first page. So I'm just going to do single because it's just showing you on the wrong side of the page as far as printer spreads is concerned. But you can take a look at how they have the footer and page number up here. So we want to emulate that. So go ahead back into your document. And again, we're on our parent pages. And let me zoom in a little bit. Take your type tool, and I'm going to put that on the top here, on the very top. So the baseline is on that margin. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the page number, which is page number 1, will be on the right side. So I want to first type in the Alice in Wonderland. I'm going to go ahead and copy that, paste that in. It's not copying. Oh, it's not copying. All right, so let's go back. That's not copying. I'm going to open up my Word file, which we're going to open up anyway soon here. It looks like we're going to have to write that in here. That's fine. So what you might need to do is type that in there. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. All right. Then we're going to go to your, we're going to create a style. So you're going to go to Windows Style, Paragraph Style. And we're going to create a new style. And we're going to name this. Let me look on our PDF here. Let me hide this for a second. I got lots of stuff on here. We're going to name this chapter title, name title. Let's see. Chapter title. And then that's when we're going to figure out, oh, what's a good serif to put this in? The serif typeface, which has the little footers on the bottom. I'm going to do Baskerville because I know that's a good one. It's very readable. I'm going to do, let's do like 10-point type, and I'm going to do italic. I'm also going to choose center align under indents and spacing and click OK. And that's going to set it in my chapter title typeface. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put I'm going to put the page number. So with that being done, with my little blinker by the end of that word, I'm going to go up to Object. And I'm going to, I don't know if it's, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I said the wrong one. Go up to Type, go to Insert Special Character, and then you want to do markers and current page number. And what that's going to do, ooh, the heck did that do? Look like it. Okay, here we go. It just looked weird. It's going to put that little A in there as the page number. Remember we did that before. So once that does that, what we want to do is we want to set the tab for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically set a tab for all of this. So just go ahead and highlight your whole name, the whole title, and the page number, and double click on that chapter title. And we're going to put a tab in here. And the tab's going to be on the right for this one. So we want to choose the right justified tab. And go ahead and drag this in to where the very end of this, oh, I think I went too far, of this margin is. So like about 4.25. And then click OK. Then go back into your text box, click in between the title and the page number and hit Tab. Oh, the only thing is, let's see, we're having problems with the alignment of Alice in Wonderland then. So let me go back and check here. Indents and spacing is centered. Let's pull this in a little bit. There we go. Okay, so what we're dealing with is instead of doing a center align, because what it's trying to do is just, it's using that tab to tab it all the way across. We don't want that to happen. Okay, so we want this A to be there, but we don't want this to be on the left side. So what we got to do is we got to put two tabs in. So double click on your chapter title, hit tabs. And we're going to put a center tab. So see the center little, it's like a straight down arrow. We're going to do a centered tab in the middle of your document. So wherever the center is. And a good way to tell this, and let me click OK, is if you click on your text box and you draw a line here, that's the middle right there, a margin guide. So the text box will basically tell you where that middle is. So go to your tabs and you're going to reset this so it's totally centered. So I'm putting another tab in here and I'm clicking OK. Now what I'm going to do is delete that tab I put before. And I'm going to go ahead and select all and take off that centered. I kind of want to be left now. So where your indents and spacing do all left. And that way the tabs will be easier to do. So right in front of the word Alice's Adventures, go ahead and hit tab one time and then click in between the Wonderland and the page number. And mine kind of went off the page because my tab must be too far over. So I'm going to go back into my styles. I'm going to pull that over just slightly so it's coming back. Okay, where is it? Oh, you know what? I must have a tab. I must have another tab in there. Hold on, click OK. Let me get, or a space. Let me do this again. Sometimes tabs can be a little tricky here. Let me pull this tab out and let me put another one in here. Right there. Okay. And then that one's set. That one should be good. I'm not sure what's happening here. Let me pull back just a little bit. I pull back a lot and see what's happening. Oh, okay. It's showing now. If that happens, just go ahead and click OK, pull it way out, and then you can kind of adjust it to be a little bit more accurate on that line. Perfect. Okay, and then the other thing is we want to put that rule line. So go ahead and double click back on your chapter title style guide. And remember how we did rules, paragraph rules? We want to do it in the example that was shown. It looked like the rule was below. So we want to choose rule below. And we can hit that preview button just to see what it looks like before we do anything. And then what we want to do is just go ahead and click roll on. And I would change your weight to like 0.25. It doesn't have to be, you know, super thick. So 0.25. And then what you want to do is offset it. So where the offset is, go ahead and click on that on the up arrow. So it offsets it about 0.0625. Click OK. And then what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to align that rule right onto that margin. So just kind of sitting on that purple line. Okay. So that would be your, page. Actually, I accidentally sent this for the right one. This should be on the right one. So let me pull this over. Super easy to do. Just go ahead and throw it over here. Just because that page number has to be on the right side, not the left side when you're on the right pages. That makes sense. There we go. You can just go ahead and copy and paste this over, and then we can kind of adjust it. What we need to do though is change the name of the chapter title. So what you might want to do is once you're done here, you can copy this. So go ahead and select your left text box with this information. And we're going to go drag and drop it down on that plus sign. And we're going to hit copy. And we're going to name this left. And we're going to name this right. So we kind of know. Because we have to set things differently, like the tabs, for instance. All right, so this one is going to be set to left. So we're going to hit left, and then we're going to double click, and we're going to set our tabs differently. So we're going to clear tabs. Okay, we're going to clear this tab. We're going to keep the middle one, but we're going to take this one completely off. So just drag and kind of take it off of that little ruler. And we're going to do a left justified tab over here, where it starts where the actual page number should be. So you have a middle tab and then the other thing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this little A. Just go ahead and select it, hit copy, Command C, and then delete it. Delete that space tab in between, and we're going to paste it right in front of Alice's. and then we're going to hit tab, and that's going to set it to where we need it to be. Go ahead and save this, and I believe the save, let me see what the requirement is here. Doesn't say what to save it as. No, it doesn't. Okay, so we're going to name this ABIS _ book project. And you could put the week number too, week 6 or whatever. And put this on the desktop for now, just so I can easily find it. Okay, now it's saved. Now what you want to do is click back into your pages on your page panel, so page number 1, and you'll see how this is set. And you have your type box in here too. Remember how we did that in the preferences? So we're all ready to go. We don't want to bleed. I just saw that here right now. All right, so now that we got all the way down to this point, we're right here. So we want to make sure we're reading this information and we have all of our paragraph styles set, and then we're adding in our copy. All right, so at this point, what you can do is go ahead and open up your Word file. And let's see here, this is the Word file I want. Book text right here, perfect. Okay, so this is the book text, this is the chapter. And again, if you need help with seeing how this is going to be laid out, go back to the first page and you can see how chapter 1 is set differently in a style. The headline is set in a different style. And then we have the body copy set in a different style. So what we want to do is we want to emulate that with our copy. Okay, so what we're going to do is go ahead and take your Word file. And I'm going to probably just select this separately and this separately, as well as the body copy, just because it's easier to change. So I'm going to go and just copy that part. I'm going to move this body copy box down. So that's for my body text, and to create a new text box. And that's where my chapter information is going to be. And I'm going to put no style for that one, because we're going to create a style for that. And then I'm going to do another text box, and that's going to be the headline of the name of the chapter. Again, no paragraph style yet. We're going to define that in a second. And just try to emulate that the best you can with what is shown here, you know, with the style and with the overall hierarchy. So chapter 1 would be the chapter settings. Let's see what they name that on our paragraph. Body copy, first center header, chapter number, chapter title. Oh, okay. So they named this differently. I would probably name this page number then. Right, page number right. I was thinking that was the, and then just double click. So we're not getting the chapter titles confused. Page number left, page number right. And now we could do a new paragraph style. We're going to name this chapter title. And we're going to do Baskerville again. And we're going to do semi-bold italic, just do a little bit bold. Or maybe actually, I think we did just italic. And let's see what this looks like here. Yeah, it looks good. So I'll do like 16 points in Baskerville. That looks good. Perfect. Then I'm going to check the headline. I'm going to create a new paragraph style for this. And what did they name this? Chapter title, chapter number. Oh, I actually did that wrong too. Chapter title should be here. Let me cancel this. This one should be chapter number. And this should be chapter title. So I got that all kind of messed up. Sorry about that. All right, Baskerville, we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to do bold, no italic for this one, and we're going to make it big. Yeah, let's do 24 or 20. Let's do 22. That probably looks good. And let's do semi-bold. 22 looks good. Okay. And then what we want to do is just kind of pull this together a little bit. You can notice how this is pulled all the way down about 2 inches. So we want to kind of do the same. So go ahead and pull these 2 boxes down, pull these 2 together a little bit. They're closer together. And then here is your intro copy. Okay. So now you're going to go and select your body copy. So go ahead and just select all of this. And you might want to do a spell check before you do, before you actually do any copy and pasting. It's a lot. All right, now we're going to take the type tool and just go ahead and paste all that in. And now what we're going to do is set the body copy. And you know how we have to set the first paragraph differently because it has a drop cap. So we want to do drop cap character and drop cap paragraph. So let's set the body copy first, the style, just a regular body copy style. Let's go ahead and click new body copy. And again, I'm going to do Baskerville, regular, and I'm going to make this a little smaller. So 10 by 14, maybe 11 by, I don't want to do any bigger than, so I'm going to do 10 by 14. I think that looks good. All right, and then let's see if there's any indents that this book has. Yes, it has indents. And then what I want to do is check indents while I'm doing this and go ahead to first line indent. And I don't want to go more than 0.25 just because it would be too much. And then I don't really want spacing in between, and I don't have it selected here, but I did notice that there's spacing in between here, and I want to get that out. So you're going to have to manually delete the spaces. What you could do, let me see in the Word file. Is it in the Word file? Yes. So the reason why those spacings come through is because they're formatted that way, which kind of is a little annoying because you're going to have to go in here and actually delete all the spacing in between here. You don't want those spacing in there. You can do that before you actually copy and paste it, but it's going to still be a little bit of a job, I should say. A little bit more time. And this is kind of the annoying part when people give you Word files to copy and paste from. Just make sure you're not deleting anything important. Just go in and delete that extra space in between all of this. All right, and this is just, notice how it's filling in all of your pages from here. That's kind of the beauty behind having all those text box already in there and they're linked. So go throughout, I'm not going to do this here because I think it'll just take too much time, but go throughout, get rid of those spaces. And then we're going to do our first paragraph style, which will have the drop cap. So select just the first paragraph, go ahead and highlight the first paragraph. And we're going to do a new style, and we're going to name this new style drop cap copy. We're going to leave everything the same. The only thing that we're going to do is put a drop cap on there. So we're going to do 3 lines. Looks good. 3 lines of the drop cap. Okay. So it should look like this. Let me show you what the trim view looks like, or what the presentation. It's coming together. Looks good. All right, now we have to put in the image. So we have this image of the rabbit we want to place in there. And so go ahead and take your rectangular frame tool and draw out your frame. I would go a little bit over the margin in here because it's kind of showing that in the example. Here we go with that first picture. So we want to Go ahead and place that in. If it's not fitting properly, go to object fitting, fill frame proportionally, or content proportionally. And then we want to put a text wrap on it. So go up to window and do text wrap. We want to show options. So make sure that's showing. And for this one, we want to wrap around objects. So we don't want to do wrap around bounding box because it would show as a big square. See how this is kind of going around a little bit more organically. So we want that to happen. So select your object, wrap around object itself. And what we want to do, same as clipping, detect edges. And we don't want to do that. Detect edges, and there we go. This is still kind of going around. It's still, I don't know if it's because it's a JPEG. Wraparound objects. I never actually had place in a JPEG like this before. I always do like a ping file. So it's actually not, I wonder if it's, let me see here. Let me see if I have a clipping path on here. Go to clipping path options, detect edges. There we go. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is select this object because it's not going to work even with this text wrap just being selected. You're going to have to go up to, when you select that image that you just placed in, go up to object, clipping path. You have to do a little extra step here and go to options. And we want to choose type detect edges. And that's going to detect the edges of your image. So click OK. And then you can kind of adjust the wrap. So right now I'm just going to put 0.0625 edges. You can see how that how that's wrapping around now, but I still have some weird stuff going on here. So I want to make sure that's not happening. See how there's still like words there? So I'm going to pull this to the right just a little bit more. And that's kind of where it's giving it the, make sure you don't have any copy there showing. And I'm going to make this a little smaller because I think I made this a little too big here. Object fitting. There we go. Perfect. So try to emulate kind of what you see in that example that was given to you, and even how it's being wrapped here. Make sure there's no weird breaks or anything like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then you go into page 2. So go ahead and page 2 on your example. And it looks like we need to just pull down one line of your body copy so that it's not so close to the top edge. And you'll have to do that on every page. It's a little annoying, I know, but same thing here. You might want to pull it down just one line so it's aligning on the very bottom. Pull it down just the text box. See how that's kind of just, you're pulling it down just a line on each. So go ahead and do that for all of these so that they're all consistent. Here's page 3, page 4, and just go through. Page 5, you'll have, obviously your bigger image here. You'll have to place in page 6. And then page 8, you'll have a little glyph here. So glyphs, and let me go ahead. Let me see here. And then it goes, and then you'll start page 9 as, another chapter. You'll have to do another paragraph style for this information. But let me end it on page 8 in my demo so that you can see at least up till there all the changes. And then I think you're good after that as far as repeating everything. And this isn't aligning, so we need to pull this up a little bit. Okay, and then this is page 8. So this is where I'll stop. All right, let me save this and let me go and take a look at what I got so far. So 2, 3, 4, and yours might actually be on a different page 5, for instance, because of the size and typeface that you chose. It might be, it might not be the same as far as where it's positioned. Just kind of pay attention to weird, like here's a widow here. Oh, here's a space. There we go. Bad breaks, like for instance, right here, I would just bring that up to the top. Any bad breaks like this, I'd pay attention to. So I'd probably pull this up a line to fix that. Here's a widow. So I probably pull this down. There's another bad break, pull that down. And let's see, there seem to be no one waiting by the doors when I'm looking for. And this is chapter 2. So this would be on a completely different page. So when we get to chapter 2, let's see, this is chapter 2. It's going to be on a completely different page. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that that's starting on a completely different page. Let's go back to page 6. We're just going to put this on page 6, even though it might not run with what we have going on here. All right, so I'm going to take my rectangle frame tool and I'm going to put most of my image, just like as you see. Oh, I'm sorry, 5. Let me go on page 5. Put that rectangle frame tool right here. Almost like half of the page is taken up by this image. So we should have that text box kind of taking that up. We're going to place in that second image in there, and we're going to go up to Object, Fitting, Fill Frame Proportionately. Okay, we're going to pull this down so we can see the whole image. Pull it up. Readjust this so we're not blocking anything up here. And then we're going to put a text wrap around this so that there's no copy going behind it. That looks good. All right. And then same thing here. The next page should have another really big image, almost taking up even more of the page, 1/3 of the page. Object fitting, fill frame proportionately. And again, you might want to fit this a little bit better in here. Okay. I'm going to put like a background of white back here so I can see a little bit better. There we go. And then text wrap around this image so that we're not missing any information there. Then you can see it kind of pushes my chapter 2 all the way down here. If I hit return, it could actually be put on this page. A new page starting here. I don't know why that's not, there we go, perfect. So then what you would do is go ahead and do your chapter title. I'm sorry, chapter number, chapter title. And obviously we would have to move this down because it's showing that chapter title down further. on the page, just like before. Okay, I'm going to go back up here because what I wanted to show you was when it ended with a glyph here, I wanted to show you that. Okay, so right here is where the glyph would end, and a glyph is basically a symbol, but you can kind of treat it like a letter form. So right here, what we're going to do is we're going to hit return, and we're going to do a new paragraph style, and we're going to name this glyph. And a glyph is basically anything that is like a symbol. It's within, you should have a typeface that shows a glyph based on, say, the typeface you have it set in here. So Baskerville, we'll just keep it on that. Click OK. And then go up to type. Let's see, there should be glyphs right here. Type glyphs. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to find a symbol based, and we can actually click on here and look for a symbol under show entire font and go to symbols. Now this would be under Baskerville, but if we actually went under the fonts, we're going to go to a font that is more of a, I don't know, we're going to check out, let's see. There's like funky glyph type character fonts in here. I'm not sure. Let's see which ones are the best let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about here. Let's go up to window, type and character panel before I even show you what the glyphs look like. There should be fonts in here, and I'll show you a second. In my character panel, see how you can like see the fonts on the right-hand side, what they look like? Well, glyph fonts are ones that have symbols, and that there's dingbat fonts too. But you can actually see each of the glyphs in here on how they'll look. So for instance, if I did vintage decorative signs. Let's see the entire font. You can go to your entire font with the vintage decorative signs, and you can see kind of a symbol in there that's linked to that. And there's different fonts that have, these ones are mostly like almost like dingbat fonts. So let's say I want to end it and I want to have a symbol like this. I'm going to go ahead and double click on that. And it's going to show up as a glyph. And all I need to do is double click on the glyph option here. And I'm going to change this to vintage, whatever font I chose here. Decorative signs. There we go. Perfect. And I'm going to center align this. Looks good. And I can make it bigger and smaller. And then obviously affect the spacing and all that good stuff. So I'm going to click OK. And you can see how that is in there. That actual glyph is in there acting like that little symbol glyph. Oops. Okay. I accidentally muted myself there. All right. So that would be the end of your chapter setting. So then once you start the new chapter, it'll be a new page, like I said, and you'll just go throughout just like I showed you. And, obviously you'll have don't delete the spacing in between here, but you'll be treating these pull out, I call these pull out quotes a little differently. So you're going to create a new paragraph style for those. And just make sure you're adding in the images appropriately. And it's going to be pretty long. You'll see it kind of goes, this is 33 pages. And at the end, by the time you get everything placed in here, If there's extra pages, just go ahead and eliminate those, like for instance here, but I didn't place in all my images yet. You can go into your pages and eliminate whatever blank pages you may end up with, okay? And then again, as you save this, go to file, save your, this is completely done. Go to File, Package, and just make sure all of this is checked, including high quality print PDF. I'm going to save to my desktop. Choose Package, and then go into that folder and just make sure everything looks good. And what I would suggest is making sure you have the InDesign file, your document fonts are listed in your folder, and then your links. And then go ahead and open up that PDF and just kind of flip through, make sure everything looks good, you know, compare it to that example that you got in your assets folder. And if any changes are needed, you can go back and change those before submitting. All right, good luck.